on here. And it's hey, Johnny, what's up? What's up? What's up? Here's another flat max. I've acquired quite the collection of flat maxes. Strangely enough. Chug bugs. You know what? I'll be on the look for chug bugs. What size you like? What's up, builder dude? Ryan? Mario? I don't have any jitterbugs. I don't know that I've ever painted a jitterbug in my life. How about that? Morgan gets a new phone. He can drop in the chat. Ooh, yuck. ATL traffic. I watched the I watched the real dude Morgan talk about his spinner baiting. It didn't seem all like he made it sound easy. You know what I mean? Even though he wasn't getting a lot of bites. Odd. Got a pretty cool jitter fish from Matt Lures. What baffled you, Morgan? The 3 1/4. Is that's like just the standard size, right? Hanger saying he had never thrown a spinnerbait back there. I think he never thought to throw a spinnerbait. Oh, back behind the cables, like between the bank and the walkway and the floats and stuff. Yeah, that was. I don't know. I don't know that. If he was a spinnerbait guy, it wouldn't be any question, right? Like if that was, or let's say, excuse me, power. He's a power guy. You find those bites because those are the only bites that you look for. So if they're not biting shallow, you find them biting shallow. You don't go run deep and go check this and go check that. So guys that power fish shallow, they have patterns that normal people would never find, and they've got lots of them. You know what I mean? Like for every like scenario in different times of the year, they know these fish get goofy and they do this, and because you've spent so much time forcing that bite that you eventually just find them. Sorry, Hella. I meant to ask you, what's the story with what's the pulse on Whatnot these days? I got an email from him. I was like, you know what? I'll finish my my setup of my account. So if I wanted to sell, I could sell. And then I started thinking about it. I said, I haven't heard from any of the Whatnotters lately. I haven't seen Hella do one in a while. I haven't seen Baxter do one in a while. Those are the only two I knew, but I haven't heard much chatter about it. I feel like it popped off pretty quick and it got kind of quiet. Hello, Daniel. Jeremy, that's what I would think. Summertime slows down and whatnot. Should be picking back up. Yeah, just I don't I don't. Part of the reason I wasn't getting like notifications or anything was because my phone is memory is so full. My phone automatically offloaded whatnot, so I wasn't getting any kind of notifications. What's up, Scott? He was throwing the spinnerbait where most flipped a creature or a jig, but he also said that he thought he could catch those. He could have caught those fish on either or two of those baits, which I thought was odd. The Panger thought throwing a jig on the backside of a duck was power move. The most common thing at Grand. Hello, Rich. Probably start the whatnot again as the water freezes. Yeah, once it gets cold and everybody's looking for something to do. Baitman's still been doing them. That's what I didn't know if he's because all I've been seeing is boat stuff. I haven't noticed any bait sales stuff. Because he's usually pumping those pretty good, but haven't seen that, just boat stuff. So I was curious because I was about to paint a bunch of just random things I have laying around. Shad wrap, fat wrap. These I might keep for myself though. Hey, the big bandits. I'd like to find some more of these. I need to be shopping on one night, if not to be finding more of those. But these are going to be. This is a really, really good bait. Rob with Guggen is getting record views, I think. Still, I figured he would have dumped whatnot and been on to something else, unless he's selling rare coins or I think the card. I think the card thing's kind of blown its wad. The Bandit Ricochet caught good down here. Bandit Ricochet? What was that? I'm going to start selling on whatnot. It will only take me 30 years to sell everything. Do you have any of these, Scott? I'm gonna cut in the middle of your whatnot and oh yeah, I remember that. I thought those things ran like shit. I thought those things ran like ass. Bandit Ricochet crankbait. I can't even find. Dude, Google sucks so bad now. You can't even you can't even search for what you're looking for without all of the results being ads. Or not ads, but just pushed to the top because of advertising. Like, I know the bait, but I still haven't seen a picture of one. A rocket? Yeah, Cliff Pace Black Label makes the Ricochet. Let's look up rocket. Racket. Let's look this piece up. Racket, rack-it square bill. I've seen quite a bit of these in the wild, and I always pass them up because I've had more than one person told me they were sheet. Yeah, they look like the profile is pretty good on them. I don't hate the profile. They look good. And I really don't see Bandit making that shitty of a bait. I guess I need to try one to see. Since Blake is going to take the Elite Series invite, Christie will have some local competition instead of the Elite event being JC Benefit. Well, that'll be nice. The Young Blood versus Old Cloth. We'll see how that ends up. You know, Tyler, you talking about just that stuff that looks like lettuce growing off the bottom? Cabbage lettuce. And it's like super green. It's like the greenest green you've ever seen. It's like that green almost. Well, the Tide was out Saturday, and I noticed some piles of that stuff. Amy's calling me. I noticed some piles of that stuff and thought to myself, what to do? Fish the cabbage or not? There wasn't any water on the cabbage anyway if I wanted to. Scott, we need to work out a deal. All your weird odds and ends baits without scales. That's why these will look good. They're scaleless. Bandits look good. They don't have scales. All these look good with no scales. When it mixes with eelgrass, ooh, that would have been the tough part, because where this stuff was, the eelgrass doesn't typically grow. But I'll be on the look. Found 3 extra DD14s in the box, and I thought they didn't make a solid bone one, but in fact they did. You don't see them as much, but they do make a solid color one. I had to get all the chrome stripped off of this loser. Or I guess I could paint over it. I have so many odds and ends baits, it'll take you days to research through them. My buddy Keith went deer hunting up in Indiana, and we went to Mike's. We talked about that. But speaking of digging through stuff, they get over on the high tides and next to it on the lows. See, the stuff I was seeing, it was growing. It was up so shallow that I feel like you would have to have like a crazy bull tide, like strong south wind incoming, flood tide to like get enough water on top of this stuff where it would have been good. It was pretty shallow. Like when the tide was out, it was like in inches of water. I don't know, Scott. I don't know where he went. It would grow out to 4 to 5 feet. That's kind of cool. I think I've seen it here in some of the deeper creeks where it gets like probably in some water that's fishable. Just the creek we were in, it was growing where it was unfishable. But I think I'm gonna try and find me a sandblaster. I've got a cabinet, but it'll take more time and effort to get that cabinet working than it would be just to go buy like a used Harbor Freight one. But we got the compressor. I just want to blast all this old paint off this stuff. Like this would blast off. I could blast all this chrome off pretty easy. This doesn't need to be blasted. It'll be left alone. I gotta figure out. Does anybody know any blueback guys because in the near future, I will have something that will be very interesting to them, or something that they would be interested in. Correct, Johnny. So I have quite the collection of old red fins, and I'm going to clean them up. You know, some guys that fish Smith a lot, they would be interested. But I've been slowly adding them to the collection, and the bone ones I'll leave bone, and then the ones that are like, I've got one that's like chartreuse plastic where they dyed the plastic, and I've got one, or I've got a handful that are white plastic that I'll paint. But Scott, I think I'm going to bypass Mike's. Just come to your garage. If you'll just let me pillage in it for like 14 hours. I don't want anything. I just like digging through it. I'm thinking about putting the shiny scales on them, Johnny, on the white ones. Like paint the body bone and then put the shiny scales on them. Because I was thinking, the way I look at these things is, if I were a guy that fished for spotted bass on spotted bass lakes and threw things like red fins, what would I want to throw? I would want to throw one of these with some shiny scales on it, because that's what I think a spotted bass would eat. So do people throw it, Morgan? I was thinking I needed to target some Smith and Lanier guys. I feel like I've had those Smith and Lanier dudes, but they're not easily achievable to get to right now because of the way social media is. BBC, none of your business. No, they're terrible. The Bomber Long A and the Cordell jointed minnow. I heard Johnny knows. Johnny, I have also. Let me see. Let me go. I'll just go grab what I got. So this one I got to strip off. Somebody took this and just coated it with red spray paint, I guess. So I got to get all that stripped off. Been working on this one. I could have probably left this ugly ass chrome on there, but I didn't want to. So I'll get this one. I'll get this one stripped, but it's got the white plastic. This one is old, but it looks clear, which will be even cooler if this one's clear. Then I'll be able to paint. It might not be. It might be bone, just a light color. But we'll see what's underneath this one. This one is for sure white. So this one will get paint and probably some scales. Then I got a couple jointed ones. There's that chartreuse one that'll get painted and scaled probably. And another. This one's interesting because it's got like a upward kind of bow in it. It's like a kind of banana looking. It'll probably be the best one of all of them. So this one will either work incredible and like start a craze, because this is the kind of bait that like makes people lose their mind. You see that kick up? This is the type of bait where guys will start taking these and hit them with a lighter and try to bend this back part up. And it's bent too. It's like, I don't know. I guess maybe it got hot, but it's got a weird little kinkle in it. That's how you get customs. See, I think those guys are harder to find, Morgan. You know what I mean? Like if I post those on Instagram and Facebook, your compadres around there that know, they're not gonna see that. You know what I mean? It's almost like it would have to be like word of mouth again. I have to go back to the word of mouth days. Where you have to tell your friends in the know. Yeah, that's what everybody says. It's either chrome or it's bone. Morgan, we know the floating rug is down here a bunch early in the spring in Toledo. I wonder, Tyler, if it's fished the same. I wonder if what y'all do with it is the same thing as what Morgan and Jason Christie, his buddy from Oklahoma, would do at 10 Killer or Grand or any of those Oklahoma lakes. But these bandits are good in trees. The long A's, go around buckbrush, let the ripples go away, then twitch it and repeat. Let it float back up, twitch it, or does it suspend? Or is it like you do in Florida with a Bernie Schultz Rapala, where you just throw it in a hole in the weeds and you twitch it, floats back up? Don't even go underwater. Oh, you fish it on top. You just make the nose move. So it never dives. Interesting. I've never been a part of that. Sounds slow. Sounds like a 2-minute cast. But I guess if that's the only thing they'll eat, that's the only thing they'll eat. You try and make the rear hook come out of the water if you can. So you want it, it's like a little quick thing to where you get the nose to poke down a little bit and the ass end to poke up. Hello, AJ. Morgan, correct. That is what that is. Slept on. This would go into the sleeper category. If they're eating it, it's not like that at all. They will shoot legs to it. It's weird. That's what's so cool to me about shallow water fishing and like guys that only do that. is that like you realize, and it it dicks up your brain because you know that there's some way to get a bite. Like there is a trigger to get those shallow fish to fire most of the time. And some days it's like you're talking about. Maybe you didn't figure them out because you didn't take a long A and go out there and like twitch it and not let it go under the surface and like do that. Or you didn't like throw a red shad worm and then just like reel it in real slow, or anything like off the wall. Um, it's always something. It's always something. I feel like. What is this? 6 cents. Some of the biggest deals of the year. Got it. Thanks for the email. It's the 30th one from you this week. You can do it in a crowd. Yeah, something like that. One of the stranger bites I got on was swimming a tube. And when I tell you I couldn't get bit on anything, I couldn't get bit on anything. And I started swimming a tube, and it unlocked the whole lake. It was the most bizarre thing ever. And I tried like swimming a jig or swimming other stuff that you would swim, it's like spinnerbait, jig, like skinny dipper kind of stuff that like is way better at swimming. But you wouldn't even get a look. But you throw that tube out there and just reel it back in, and you get clobbered. The weird thing is I was doing it on the river, and I guess the fish were suspended, and they'd come up and smash it. But then I got to like this shallow grass bed and just swam it through the grass like I would like a swim jig. I clobbered it in the grass. Like I said, it was like unlocking the lake. Pretty wild. I can't, Morgan. I can't get. I can't actively go out there and swim a tube because it just looks so weird. Tube on a chatterbait. That's interesting. Lake Fork creature tube on a swing head. I gotta see that being good. I need to use a swing head more. I wonder if that'd work on the Coosa. I wonder if you could swim a tube in the grass at the Coosa and get a few grass bites from those dipshit fish. What's up, Clay? What's new in Texas? I'll tell you what, dude. That maybe I'm getting old, but Saturday morning, it was worth getting up and going through all the boat trouble and bullshit to drive down the river and watch the sun come up with a giant full moon in the center of the river channel sky. Like we made the bend to the river, and the sun was like starting to crack, and like right up above the tree line was the moon, and it was huge, and it had everything lit up. Dude, it was awesome. Lucky Craft cranks at Ollie's for $2.99. It's a pretty solid deal. Isn't Alabama changing the laws on tourney fishing? Tyler, I don't know if they're going to change them. I think there's a lot of people trying to get them to not change them, but I think that's just the Coosa that they're trying to put the 14 to 20 inch slot on for tournament fishing. The swimming tube fish I felt seemed pretty plug and play. The swimming tube fish, I mean, just one different look. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I don't process that. Like if I'm not getting bit swimming a jig, I typically I'm not gonna think, hey, let me go swim a tube and just check. Maybe I will now. It's up for a vote. That'll be interesting. Well, that'll actually be, I don't know, that'll not be good because then every lake south and north of that is going to get hammered because the Alabama Bass Trail and everybody else is going to go to Miller's Ferry. They're going to go to Jones Bluff. They're going to go to Demopolis. They're going to go to everywhere, dude. Down here, which will be cool, but uh, my mustache is a little crooked, it looks like. This side looks a little long. That'll be interesting to see what happens. Hopefully they don't, because I don't want those dick squeezers to come down here, or not here, but in the middle part of the state and start abusing those fish. And then in 3 years they'll be giving us a slot up there. Then the whole state will have a slot, and then we won't be tournament fishing, and then all this shit will be done. Slick, he needs to throw a fit. He needs to. Then what'll he have to talk about? He can only bitch about that for so many days, and then he'll be. People really get worked up over that, dude. It's pretty funny. Slick. Slick is. What's that quote about? Something to do with like Batman, where it's like where you become the villain. Something long enough, or I forget the quote about becoming the villain, but he talks all this shit about Boyd, and I feel like in a different way, Slick has gotten the same hatred that Boyd has. Like he's become the same thing as Boyd. Like, you know what I mean? Like people hate Slick just as much as they hate Boyd. Like he's become the thing that he hated most. He's lived long enough to see himself become the Boyd. Exactly. He has tick-tocked long enough to become what he hated most. It's pretty ironic. Yeah, there was a cheater. We did have a cheater get exposed on West Point Lake over the weekend. He had a net, it looked like a hoop net, full of nice quality size largemouth bass tied up to some channel marker buoy. Clay, I saw that last night. He said Davey Height was poached him in a classic and cost him the classic. I don't know that you can say cost him the classic. Probably didn't help him win. That's for damn sure. But you can't really say cost you the classic because there's no guarantee that you would have caught him. But for certain, he didn't help him win. He probably hindered him a little bit, but he didn't keep him from winning. So, yeah, does that surprise me? No. It kind of stings a little bit because I always liked Davey Height, and the part that I don't like about it is that he's one of those all shucks kind of squeaky clean looking guys that, like, you know, has that persona that, you know, give you the shirt off their back. I'm just a good old dude, just trying to make an honest living out there catching some bass. I just want to, do right and catch my fish and go about things and do it the right way. But I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Back in the day when the rookies were scared of the vets, yeah. Now the vets are clueless. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That's it. Yep. I think that's what's happening with Slick. Because if you go to his videos and go to like the comments, nobody's like, "Damn, I love you, Slick." They're like, "You piece of shit! Like, shut up. Get off TikTok, you woman." It's like, why do your videos always end right? Like while you're still talking. Learn how to edit, asswipe. He's getting death threats over bass fishing. He might be more hated than Boyd. Uh, he could be. Somebody I saw in a comment of something uh, said that Trey McKinney's not coming back. Clay, is there any truth to that? Or anybody that knows? I heard that, or I read that, and I thought to myself, that doesn't seem right. But maybe. Maybe he's fishing the NPFL. I don't know anything about Bassmaster. It's dead. Yeah, it's kind of lost its luster. Man, it seems like so long ago that like you actually had. I guess that was the difference. We didn't really know what was going on. Trey's going back. There you go. So that guy is spreading misinformation in the comments. But it wouldn't have surprised me either that he said, "I'm done with this shit. I'm catching too much. I'm catching too much shit from all these goobs. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go sell real estate." Boo making. Maybe he meant JT. Maybe he meant not Trey. Maybe he meant JT. Whatever. He will eventually win AOI in a classic before he's done. Trey, he should. I mean, unless the unless he completely goes off the rails. Has Randy done any election videos? He hates the MAGAs. No, I haven't seen any. I haven't seen much of Randy anyway. I see a couple videos, but it's like you got to give it to him. It's pretty impressive that he is able to reword the same thought like 1,000 different ways because he's got the same bitch in the majority of his videos, but he thinks of a new caption for the same thought, like for the same argument or the same bitch. It's impressive. Uh, Tyler, I don't think it's just Randy. It's it's not just Randy. I will say this. It is not Randy that lives off hate. It is the internet that lives off hate. And Randy makes his living off the internet and he needs to feed the internet. And the internet loves hate. Loves it more than anything. Destruction, corruption, hate, division, anything. Loves it, feeds it, makes it stronger. Definitely tucks it. Oh, Sister Sally. Before he started YouTube, he would rant and rant on Trump on social media and put up AOC quotes. Randy. That's the other, and that's the great thing about it is all of that is the perfect combination for him to do what he does. Like if I want people to engage with my Facebook posts or Instagram, all I have to do is post a picture of a bait and say Joe Biden's the shit and Kamala is awesome and I wish they would be president and vice president for another 30 years. And you know what would happen? I would have 6,000 comments when I woke up in the morning of just people telling me what a shithead I was. And you know what? Instagram is going to feed that to everybody else. Same bait that everybody sees all the time, but it makes you hate me. Old school Hagen. What's he call it? Hardcore Hagen? I do like the hardcore Hagen. Rainey's likes that. Rainey probably been to a swingers party, probably. Hello, Tennessee Bassmaster. Hardcore Hagen. Speaking of old school Hagen, anybody heard out of Retro Bassin? Has he been retroing? I haven't seen much out of him lately. But it could be just because YouTube and the gram give me what they choose. Let me see. Cali got a lot of homeless and Hawk Tua going on. Plenty of homeless. Austin had the same problem. He posted a YouTube video on man stuff. Oh yeah, he did post that. I saw that about I guess you could get all the overstock. It's out there. It's a Bass Pro Shops if anybody wants it. If you have a Bass Pro Shops near you that might go untapped, you could probably slide in there and find you some old man stuff. You didn't see Randy at the Lake of the Ozarks swinger party, AJ? Maybe he was in disguise, bro. Ollie's. We don't have an Ollie's. I thought Ollie's was like everything store. Like they sell everything. 4:30. All right, I got to get out of here in a minute. Oh, Randy. I wonder if Randy's ever watched one of these videos. You think? I wish I could track viewers. I wish I could see all of my viewers. Randy is the Joe Biden of fishing. Come on, man. It's like Big Lots, but way bigger. My buddy Keith, I think when they opened the Costco here, he went in there and bought 2 Shimano combos with E7s on them, bro. And they were like $50 each. It was some shitty rod, but they had E7s on them. I feel like Randy should grow a stash. That probably wouldn't be terrible. I think he could pull the stash off. And he should, because it would kind of fit into his like retro vibe. Like he wants all things to be like the old days. We can start with your facial hair, bro. Bring the stash. Bring on the stash. Let the mullet flow. Bring the mullet back. Bring the stash back. I think you could work it. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be like if I'm into like my whole life revolves around like hippie shit, probably should like grow my hair long and dress like a damn hippie. One Ollie's I went to had a bunch of the old Jen Abu Garcia Revos. Dude, let me make sure we don't have an Ollie's here. We might have an untapped resource that I haven't been utilizing. Or let me see where the closest one is. I bet there's one in Pensacola. Ollie's. Holy shit, we've got one, dude. Oh, Mediterranean cuisine. Ollie's on Halls Mill Road. Discount store? No. Dude, we have an Ollie's on the road I work on. Is it behind Walmart? I'll be damned. We do have an Ollie's. It's right in the ghetto, though. It's in like meth head ghetto. Clay, you have a strong mind that you've been able to resist the clickbait for this long. The good thing about you is you haven't fallen for his tricks and his mind manipulation. Your mind hasn't been manipulated by his clickbait titles yet. But he's like the Emperor in Star Wars. The Force is so strong with his clickbait, he'll get you one day. You'll get so mad and you'll say, fuck this guy. He's not in my algorithm. He will be now. The Gen 3 Revos. I don't know jack about Revos. Never owned one. Oh, do you watch Clay? I bet you watch Outdoor. What is it? Outdoor Boys. You watch that guy? He's the Sith Lord of clicks. Oh. So judging by the title of the channel, it wasn't what I was expecting. But the first video I saw from that guy, he was going to somewhere overseas to like some island and doing like marine training. And he like lived with these Marines in some sort of like training camp and went out into the jungle with them. But then that's what sucked me in. And then I was like, what else does this dude do? And then I saw him like living in Alaska off the back of his truck in like a blizzard and building like a little hut, and then his truck wouldn't start because the battery froze, and he like built a fire up under his truck. I was like, this guy's pretty legit. He started with catfish and carp YouTube videos. And he was kind of heavy set. Yeah, I noticed he did shed a bunch of weight. He got slimmed down pretty good. But what you also makes you wonder, like when you're like a big guy like that or bigger, and you're out there like eating grasshoppers and shit, like I guess when he'd get home, he'd just like pound some McDonald's or something. Only fishing show I watch is the guy from North Dakota. You have to tell me who he is, builder dude. But then, Clay, have you seen him go to that bed and breakfast on the bayou in Louisiana? where the dude like takes you out and you do whatever you want to do. Like you can go frog gigging, you can go gar fishing, you can go bass fishing, and then he opened up the dude's bass box. Did you see that one? If you didn't, look it up. I don't know. He's got like 4 of them with that guy, and he brings his family down there. But there's one of those episodes where he's on the boat in the bayou with the guy, and he's got a little bitty Plano tackle box, like with trays, like old school. And he opens it up, and it's got some mainly bandits. You got to go back and check out the what he's got in his box. I remember seeing the handful of bandits. He's like, this guy knows what's up. He knows how to catch them out there on the swamp. But I'd like to go down there because he cooks for you. Him and his wife cook your meals, and they take you out and let you do whatever, like whatever's happening in that time of year. Looks fun. It's expensive as shit. You got to have it's like a $2,000 a night minimum, but they can house like 10 people. So if you did it over like 3 days with 10 people, you could maybe make it affordable. But ND Yak Angler, Tennessee Bassmaster knows. All right, I got to go to the grocery store and get stuff to make pies. Moving to Morgan City. Get over there. Get over there. Let us know how it is. Maybe you can start running guide trips and get outdoor boys to come camp on an island with you. Brian? That's up to the campers. Campers? They're sitting here waiting on you. Y'all just let me know when. Y'all just let me know when. Oh, but yeah, I gotta make a pumpkin pie for the Beans Thanksgiving party. So I'll do this. All right, y'all be good. If y'all need anything, shoot me a message. Hella, my pumpkin pie is legit, dude. Secret ingredient: black pepper. I mean, unless you're just completely repulsed by pumpkin, which you may be, this pumpkin pie is legit. Oh, Bobby, let me show you something. Before, it's the texture, not the taste. So you don't like any kind of like custardy type pies? So like egg custard, you're definitely against, or any kind of like custard thing. I did just say black pepper. So this has got all my guitar stuff in it. But so I have tried white pepper and red. I've tried those medleys and then taken out the individual ones, and I like black though. So in this container here is a bunch of random guitar stuff, like bags of strings, old bridges, tuners, things of that nature. I have like a pickup. I bought a Seymour Duncan pickup. Here's the box that came in, kept that. Well, I had another container that I had some trim springs in. check the container. I didn't remember them coming in this, but it's a huge package for a 3/4 ounce bait. Made in the USA. You believe that? The Excalibur XR75 was made in the USA. And there's the packaging. And it says it right there on the back. The color I chose was Royal Shad. And it used to live right up there on top. I'm making one today as well. How much you talking? It's not much. Like, just like put some in your hand and throw it. But it's enough to taste, like barely. I can send you the recipe, Grizz. Just message me. I'll see if I can dig it up, because I got to dig it up anyway, because I gotta make it, or I gotta buy ingredients. Anywho, there's some weird stuff in it, but anywho, all right, I'll continue to ramble for another 10 minutes, but good talking to everybody. We'll be in touch. Adios.